Alright guys, I'm coming at you with another raw, unedited, unscripted Zelda Ocarina of Time video. And in this video, I just want to talk about what if the game sucks. And there's a few things I mean by that, right? Like, I just came off a weekend of playing the new Star Fox remake, and it really got the thoughts firing, right? Now, that game is great, don't get me wrong, but I feel like something was missing, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But I think I've narrowed it down, and I've got my little handwritten notes here. And we're going to talk about 3 points today I wanted to discuss on three things that can make the Ocarina of Time remake just kind of suck or not live up to the hype, right? And the first and most obvious one, and I've talked about this before in my videos, is that it's way too close to the original, or if it's a one-to-one remake to the original, right? So let's just say one-to-one remake. All right, this is kind of the worst-case scenario that nobody wants. Nobody wants a one-to-one copy of Ocarina of Time N64 or 3DS, just with much better visuals, right? That's what the Star Fox Switch 2 game did, right? It perfected the original N64 game / 3DS game, right? It nailed the controls. They're just absolutely buttery smooth and awesome. But at the end of the day, it is just the same game kind of cloned. Like the core of the game, that's all it is, right? It's just, it has much better lighting. The music is phenomenal. I'll give it that, right? But essentially, it's just the same thing. And if you played the original, like, you know, I have probably countless times back when it came out in the 90s, it just feels kind of hollow to some extent. Like, you've played this before countless times, right? Don't get me wrong. The game's fantastic. And there's some things that Zelda can take from it. But for the most part, that's the worst case scenario, is a one-to-one remake of the original Ocarina of Time game, with nothing new added. When we really think about it, we know that some of the dungeon design in the original Ocarina of Time is a little bit dated, right? Not only that, but then again, so are the bosses, and they definitely need to be updated, I don't know, at least a little bit for modern times. So there's a few concerns there on my end, and I think that staying too faithful to the original game would just be the nail in the coffin for it. I think that a lot of people would be very disappointed, including myself. At the bare minimum, they need to include a bunch of new side quests with a ton of depth. I think that would go a long ways, and I think that's something they should do and absolutely will do. But if they didn't include that, it would be a huge missed opportunity. All right, moving on into point number 2, and the next way that I think the Ocarina of Time remake could suck is that it loses the atmosphere of the original N64 game, right? It already kind of did lose a little bit of the atmosphere with the 3DS game. And the 3DS game added a lot of improvements, and it just looks way nicer. But it kind of lost some of that original vibe that it had, some of that original grittiness and spark of the N64 game, which was groundbreaking at the time. The 3DS game is great, don't get me wrong, but it brings me into the fear that I have for the Switch 2 game, is that it loses some of the vibe of the original game, which was just immaculate, right? Like, if you strip down too many elements, you know, you kind of sanitize certain things, you lose a lot of what makes Ocarina of Time Ocarina of Time. So that's definitely something. But then you got to think about, like, the Shadow Temple and the bottom of the well, right? I know I beat these examples to death, but those are two pieces of the game that I think are integral to it. And they need to really nail the atmosphere, right? They need to nail the lighting, like the final battle with Ganon. It's too bright in the 3DS version. They need to keep it dark and gritty and kind of mysterious, and just they need to overall keep that dreadful, dark tone, I think. Another way that it could lose its original atmosphere is through voice acting, right? This could be either a huge hit or miss. We know they're going to probably do voice acting to some extent in this game. You know, there's going to be voice acting in the cutscenes. I think that's pretty much a given, right? As we've seen from the trailer. And that's kind of the standard we're going to look at as far as the voice acting goes. Now, this is something that could either really hit or miss. I think if they do voice acting, that it should be used very sparingly, right? I'm talking about at the same level of Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom, or even, you know, even less than that. Like, just keep the voice acting to the key cutscenes. It also brings me to the point, are they going to finally make Link speak in this one? We know that we have the Zelda movie coming out next year, and without a doubt, Link's going to be talking in that. So are they going to try to soft launch it with Ocarina of Time remake and kind of have Link speak in that to ease the shock of what it's going to be like in the movie? Because he's always been a silent protagonist. So either way, it's going to be weird to have him talking in a way that's, you know, is outside of, you know, his little grunts and hey-ahs and all that. So that'll be interesting to see. And the third and final way I was thinking about how they can make the game suck is just filling it with endless busy work and endless I don't know, you know, they have a bunch of side quests they add to it, right? But say they're all just boring fetch quests like you see in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and so many Ubisoft type games. That's one thing that I really actually kind of dread, is that they do that. If they do add side quests, we want them to be impactful. We want them to be Majora's Mask level of quality through and through. So if they try to add some kind of modern game type crafting system, that would be interesting, but you have to be really careful with how you do it. And all in all, I don't think it really fits with Ocarina of Time and the vibe that game goes for. Having a crafting system works in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom to some extent. With the cooking and all that, I think, they could introduce cooking, but then again, you have the way to abuse it where you just go into your start menu and just chow down on like 20 meals while you're fighting Ganon. So, that also could kind of kill the atmosphere and the vibe. I don't necessarily think they should do that. If they do add a crafting system, make it subtle. Like say, I don't know, you can craft arrows from Deku sticks or something like that, or Deku nuts, or just a slight touch like that could possibly work if they wanted to implement crafting. Right, but I think they should kind of veer away from the endless collectibles and endless side quests like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Specifically, I'm referring to the Korok seeds. I hated the Korok seed quests. I think it's just filler content and busy work. And it really rewards you with nothing special, right, after you get all the item inventory slots. So I think they should try to stay away from that as much as possible. Yeah, I don't know, but the Deku, or excuse me, the Korok seeds and Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild just weren't it, at least for me. I know some people enjoy that kind of stuff, but I just didn't enjoy it. It was nothing but filler. So honestly, stay away from the collectibles. Stay away. If they do crafting, make it minimal, right? And then, if they do side quests, don't overdo it and make each side quest feel a lot more impactful. I think that'd be a pretty awesome way they could go about it. But yeah, a quick recap on how they can make the game suck here. I think they need to stay away from making a game a one-to-one remake. This has been talked about a lot, but I mean, it holds true. The second way they can make it suck is if they lose the atmosphere of the original N64 and even the 3DS game to some extent. I think that would be a big miss on their part. And lastly, the last way they can make it suck is they fill it with endless busy work, endless collectibles, stuff like the Korok seeds, just stuff that really isn't impactful at all. I think that would be a huge hindrance to the game and really take away from the soul of what Ocarina of Time really is and what it means to people. I think they need to veer away from that as much as possible. What they should do is expand the map, redo the dungeons, modernize things, I don't know, add new stuff for veteran players, clean up the controls, stuff like that would make the game awesome. But yeah, these are the things they need to stay away from when it comes to the new 2026 Ocarina of Time remake. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. So these are my thoughts on what they could do to make the Ocarina of Time 2026 remake suck. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the summer, and we're cruising towards it. I think I'm at 705 now. So again, thanks for the subs. You guys are awesome. I can't thank you enough for all the support you give me, all the comments, and helping me redesign my logo. Thank you again for that. Drop a comment below on your biggest concerns of the Ocarina of Time 2026 remake, and let me know how you think they could possibly botch the game and make it suck, or just make it not live up to your expectations. I'm really curious to know what you have to say. I will try to get back to each and every one of you if you do drop a comment, and I'll give you my take as well on what I think your take is. So yeah, that would be awesome if you could drop a comment, drop a like if you enjoyed this. Again, until next time, this has been Matt with Top Tier. I'm out. Bye.